idea behind the zones, yes, it is to control crimes within the hotspots, but it is also to lessen the ability of the hotspots to direct crime elsewhere.
And
education is the vaccine against poverty and crime and violence. And if one child doesn't have it, then poverty, crime, and violence will exist.
you're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolf. As government readies the implementation of the Zones of Special Operations, Security and Community Building Strategy, Prime Minister Andrew Holness held talks with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. At Wednesday's meeting with the Force's Officer Corps, Mr. Holness reiterated that the Zones of Special Operations was to bring law and order to communities.
The idea behind the zones is not to suspend the rights of citizens in order to fight crime. I think that's a fundamental principle that I need to drive home. The success of the operation is not going to be judged by how many people were killed. Indeed, it is the reverse. The success of the operation is that within the zone there are no murders, whether it is extrajudicially or by criminals. So if you can bring the murder rate down within a zone to zero, better yet, the loss of life to zero within that area, that would be a success.
The Prime Minister also urged the police to utilize intelligence-driven operations to retrieve guns from communities that are under the Zones of Special Operations.
An important part of your operations in the zone is to restore the trust and confidence of the citizens. Your job is to convert the citizens into your crime-fighting allies.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness reminded school administrators last week that no child should be discriminated against by virtue of their inability to afford education.
Do not in any way, shape, or form deprive or discriminate against students who are not able to afford the fees that you are charging. The fees are not obligatory. And no child should be discriminated against by virtue of their economic circumstances. They did well and got the space in the schools and are entitled to it. And no principal, no teacher should do anything at all that could be considered discriminatory to a student.
Mr. Holness was speaking at Jamaica House on Wednesday at a function to honor students of staff members who sat this year's Grade 6 Achievement Test, GSAT. Stressing that every child had a right to education, the Prime Minister said he would be exploring ways to make it an offense to deny a child education on the basis of affordability. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is the recipient of the Jamaica 55 Grand Independence Gala Award for Distinguished Leadership from the Jamaican Diaspora. He received the award on Saturday in New York. The Prime Minister also delivered the keynote address at the Jamaica Diaspora event. Before his departure for New York, Prime Minister Holness welcomed guests to Jamaica House this past week. On Wednesday, he met with the Jamaican Government Pensioners Association. Wednesday also saw Mr. Holness holding talks with the 2017-2018 diplomats of the East Jamaica Conference. On Thursday, the Prime Minister thanked outgoing Canadian High Commissioner Sylvain Fabi for his service, and he welcomed the British High Commissioner-designate Asif Ahmad. While the Prime Minister was on assignment in New York, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Dr. Horace Chang, acted in his stead. On Thursday, Dr. Chang issued bursaries to over 100 tertiary students in Western Jamaica.
Providing training is critical to provide the opportunity for us as a country to achieve our targets in growth and economy, and to give our people a chance to earn the income to give them better quality of life.
And on Saturday, the acting Prime Minister extended condolences and support to the families of the 3 persons, including a 13-year-old, who were killed in Racecourse Clarendon Friday. Dr. Chang said he was especially troubled by the killing of children, which seemed to be a growing trend by criminals. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for the latest news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.